Welcome to 2020. I'm sitting here isolated. I have been isolated for months, together with books and toilet paper. And the only thing I've been doing is working on my novel. But what have I been working on? Earlier I said I would write a story based on my short story about the lost city of Corona. I know that name didn't age well. But I said I was going to write a novel based on that story. However, I decided to begin writing a novel based on another short story. And the only reason I wanted to do it that way was because the story about the lost city is very complex and it would take a long time to finish that story. So I wanted to write a book that I could finish earlier first, so I don't need to wait so long until I have something to show for. Before I have something done, and that's why I do this little bit more simple story first, and that story is also based on a short story that I wrote, and it was very popular. It was about two guys finding a portal to a world where Homo sapiens never evolved, and you can listen to it on a YouTube channel called NaturesTemper, and you can also read it on Reddit. I will put links to all of those things below in the description. And that is a novel I have been working on instead for a couple of weeks now. I had a bit of a hiatus because of the coronavirus, and also because I got a new job, which was very good. I'm very happy to have gotten a job during this time rather than losing a job. So I'm very grateful for that, although it did force me to change my writing routines quite a lot. So now I have been writing 2 hours each morning before work instead, and instead of working like in the afternoon. And most of the time I have been successful with working like that, although it was quite difficult to work this last week because my allergies were kicking in June, and it was so warm that my bedroom felt like an oven, and I felt like a boiled lobster that has been hit by a train every time I woke up in the morning. So it was very difficult to write in that condition. Although now it has begun to subside. I mean, the allergy has begun to subside, and some rain are coming into Stockholm. So now it feels better, and I have been a lot more productive these last couple of days. So I have some questions here for myself. All right. So how much have I written so far on this project? Well, the short story was about 12,000 words, and I want to extend that to be the first half of the novel. And I'm aiming at a total of 50,000 words for this novel. So I wanted to extend the short story to at least 25,000 words. However, I only got up to 21,000 words until I felt that it was done. I will probably add maybe 1,000 or 2,000 more words because I need to add 2 scenes, I think. So the second part will have to be 30,000 words, I guess. But I don't think that would be a problem at all. So yeah, so I extended the short story into 21,000 words. And now I have begun writing the other half of the novel, which will be the continuation of the short story and the resolution of the story. So there's going to be 2 parts. And I have this idea that the novel will be based on 2 fictional letters. And because the short story ends in a cliffhanger. And it's a cliffhanger that sort of wraps the story up and leaves the reader wondering what's going to happen next. And since it is written in first person, I mean, it's really difficult to explain without spoiling the story, but if I turn it into a novel from the same perspective, one of the problems I had was that it becomes pretty weird that he ends the first part like he does. Like basically goodbye, and then I didn't really know how to continue with the second part in the form of a novel because that goodbye kind of sentence was there. And so I turned the first part into a letter written by the character. So it has its own dramaturgical curve with a beginning, middle, and an end. And then there is a response to that letter. And then the character writes another letter explaining what happened after he wrote the first letter. So that is the structure of the story, which is basically just an excuse to keep that nice cliffhanger ending from the short story, which I liked a lot. So that is pretty much how I have structured the story, and so far I've written about 3,000 words on the second half of the novel, and so you can imagine I have a lot left to write there, but if I can write 1,000 words a day, which is not unrealistic, I will be done in a month. So that's pretty cool. But there's always going to be days when I can't write, or when I wake up too late, or for whatever reason can't manage to write 1,000 words. So maybe it will take a bit more than a month. But still, I mean, it's still within a reasonable time frame, I think. And after I've written this book, I will start with the lost city of Corona. And since that name has been a little bit, how to say it, I had to Google that word to know how to say it in English. And when I write for 2 hours, by the way, I spend like half an hour Googling things, because English isn't my native language and I really want this to be well written. So I do a lot of Googling, Google how to describe things, Google how to spell things, Google how to use certain words in a sentence. I mean, it's very common for me to Google word in a sentence, and then I get example sentences so I can see if the words fit the way I want it to fit. So I do a lot of Googling, like now, and Google Translate, sorry, it's not coronavirus. I think I had the coronavirus actually in the end of March, or in the beginning of March, because what I felt was very atypical to how I usually feel when I'm sick, and it was this dry cough, and it lasted for a long time, and I had some fever, and it just felt strange, like it was something unusual, and so I do think I have had it, and that I have antibodies right now, so I feel pretty safe for my own sake. But I haven't gotten tested, so who knows, I'm still being careful, as you can see. Anyway, let's move on to it. I was just gonna say that Google Translate sucks. I mean, it just translates everything directly, so everything looks very weird. And now I was Googling a word which is besudla in Swedish. I will soon find out what the English term is, I have forgotten that. But Google Translate are saying it's we were eating. That has nothing to do with the word I am trying to translate. And another time I was trying to translate kisa med ögonen, which is squint with your eyes. I wanted to see if there was another way to describe that. And apparently Google suggested pussy with eyes. Yeah, that's how bad Google Translate is. So for translating single words, it can work very well, unless now for some reason. But sentences, but complete sentences, it usually doesn't really work. So I go to another lexicon here, and of course it's difficult to know if a word is commonly used or if it's just a very obscure word that no one actually uses. So I want to avoid those kind of words, which is not obvious for a non-native speaker if this is an unusual word or not. But to sully, basically, besudla to sully, I think, and to taint, yeah, so the title, The City of Corona, is obviously tainted by the pandemic going on. And also it was tainted since before that, because there was also this beer which was called Corona, so people were making jokes about that. So it was a poor name, and I'm going to change that. But the reason I chose the name Corona was not because I had precognition and could foresee the future about this virus. Several years ago, I had a dream about a kind of alternate version of Stockholm, but under the ground. It was still like daylight, but there was a cave ceiling, and it was like fog instead of clouds. And that alternate version of Stockholm in my dream was called Corona for some reason. And so when I wrote the story of the lost city of Corona, I thought it was fun to take that dream as an inspiration, and I used that name. That's why. So, and then, 2020 came along and all that. So now I'm going to change the name to something else when I'm in the novel. So, okay. What more can I say today? I had my questions. No, I didn't have that much more to say, but I will tell you this. It's now possible to support this YouTube channel or me as an author by using Patreon or Subscribestar, or by buying our merchandise on Redbubble, which I have designed myself, or you can donate directly through PayPal. There are links to all these things in the description. And of course, we would be very grateful. Me and my friend who I'm making this YouTube channel with, if you would consider donating something to us. It would mean that we could produce more interesting content, and that I can prioritize my writing more than other projects that I have going on. So yeah, that's up to you, and anything would be super appreciated. Okay, that's it for today. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to like the video if you appreciated it. And you can also click the little bell button to get notification when our next videos will be up. I hope you found this video interesting, and if you have anything to ask or something to say, just do it in the comment section below. Thank you, and stay safe out there.